Gojo Satoru is the most popular character in Jujutsu Kaisen. He is magnetic, technically fascinating, and has generated more discussion about fictional power systems than almost any character in recent anime. He is not the main character. Itadori Yuji is. And the reason people keep misreading this is that Jujutsu Kaisen is doing something genuinely unusual. It is writing a shonen protagonist whose defining quality is not the drive to become powerful, but the willingness to take responsibility for deaths he did not cause and could not have prevented. Itadori is not interesting because of what he can do. He is interesting because of what he decides to carry. I want to make the case that Itadori Yuji is one of the most carefully constructed shonen protagonists in years, and that his relationship to Gojo tells us everything about what the story is actually about. The scene that defines Itadori Yuji is not a fight. It is his grandfather dying. His grandfather tells him two things: you are a strong kid, so help people, and die surrounded by people. These are simple instructions, and the show does not ironize them. It takes them completely seriously as the ethical foundation of everything Itadori does afterward. When Itadori decides to consume Sukuna's fingers and eventually die after all the fingers are recovered, he is not making a sacrifice in the dramatic shonen sense. He is following his grandfather's instructions. He is choosing a death that means something, surrounded by people, having helped. The grandfather scene is not set up. It is the entire argument. Gojo is overpowered, charismatic, and largely untroubled by the system he operates within. He reforms it from inside, mentors the next generation, and his death, when it happens, is a structural shock rather than an emotional one because Gojo was never particularly vulnerable. He is what power without cost looks like. Itadori is what responsibility without power looks like. These are not equally weighted positions in the story. The story is not about what it means to be the strongest. It is about what it means to keep going when you are not the strongest, when you are the vessel for something monstrous, when people die in front of you and the question is not whether you had the power to stop it but what you do with the weight of it afterward. Itadori is complicit in deaths caused by Sukuna. He did not choose those deaths. He was unconscious when they happened. But he is the vessel and he knows it, and the show does not let him escape that knowledge. This is the most morally serious thing Jujutsu Kaisen does: it refuses to clear Itadori's ledger. He cannot fix what Sukuna did through him. He can only decide how to live with it and what he does next. This is not a comfortable narrative position and the show is not comfortable about it. The repeated conversations about whether Itadori should exist, whether he is a monster or a tool or a person, are not rhetorical. They are genuine questions the story is sitting with. Jujutsu Kaisen kills significant characters. Haibara, Nanami, Nobara's apparent death, the Shibuya arc in general, these are not shock value deaths. They are the story's mechanism for testing whether Itadori can survive losing people. Because that is his specific fear. Not dying himself, which he has already accepted, but losing people around him. The deaths are expensive story events that exist to find out what Itadori is made of when the thing that makes life worth living is taken from him. The answer, so far, is that he keeps going. Not because he has found a way to stop caring. But because his grandfather told him to die surrounded by people and he cannot fulfill that instruction alone. Jujutsu Kaisen is heading toward an ending that will require Itadori to die. The setup is too deliberate for it to be otherwise. What the story is building is the question of whether that death will be what his grandfather described: meaningful, surrounded by people, with the accounts cleared as much as they can be. The series is not a tragedy if that happens. It is a completed argument. Itadori set out to die correctly. Whether he manages it is what the story is determining. That is a more interesting structural question than whether the next power escalation will be impressive. Jujutsu Kaisen is on Crunchyroll. If you have been watching it primarily for Gojo, try watching the next arc with Itadori's grandfather's instructions in mind. The show becomes something different. Subscribe for more analysis of what shonen anime is actually arguing when it is working at its best.